come back with me. Where?
Back to the drift car.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to part 6 of Bring Back the Drift Car. Muzza's got a lot of work to do. So it's Sunday, I'm going back to work on Monday, and I won't be able to do much work during the week, and we're pretty much drifting this Friday coming now. So the car's still hovering on stands. We went and saw Benny at BCW yesterday, and he hooked us up with some wheels, some new race harnesses. So I've got a lot of work to do on this car. Basically, I still got to do gearbox oil, diff oil. I still got to fix up the hazard lights, fix up the tail lights on the car, tighten up a few extra things, put some wheels on the car. At the moment, my steering lock's pretty rubbish. So I've got to modify that too, or I'm going to have a lot of trouble drifting with rubbish steering lock. So let's get to it. Okay guys, I've put the rear wheels on. I like to use metal wheel nuts only, and I usually go for these SAS style ones that have a smaller head, normally because they fit all types of Japanese style wheels. Because they're steel, they're strong, they don't strip out like the alloy ones do. So this is what I usually recommend to use. You can use whatever you want, but I've thrashed these for years on my 180s and stuff. And I murder tires normally my V8s. And I've never had a problem with stripping a thread, even wearing out. I usually put a bit of lube on my threads. Every couple of times I take the wheel off just to help. I end up finally gluing the mirror back on. So just waiting for the mirror to set as well. Getting the battery set up under here. So that's my battery set up under the dash. Mounted nice and tight. Just tidied up the wiring a little bit. Still not the neatest, but just need to get the car going for this meet. I've got to block off those holes as well. You're not allowed to have any open holes in the car normally. I know drifting's changed a lot over the years. I've seen a lot of holes in the cars, but I'm going to make mine like cam spec, and I'll block off all the holes. I just don't want any dramas when I go to the track. So we got the car, got it running, got to check for leaks and stuff. Check the fuel pumps are running. So pump 1, pump 2, pump 3, pump 4 is running. I got oil pressure, which is good. Oil pressure is good. Got tacho, got vacuum. I still got to fix the overflow. Well, a bit of a misfire, I think. It's a bit of a miss. What's going on here? Seems like a bit of a miss. Yeah, definitely got a misfire. Okay guys, so I started up, I'm running it. I'm checking a few things, checking for leaks. So far, it seems to be holding coolant, no oil leaks. But I did notice it's got like a slight misfire. I wasn't sure, but it felt like a misfire. Anyway, so while I was checking underneath the car, I'm underneath the car here, and then as I'm checking for leaks and stuff, I noticed that this lead here was shaking. I go, oh, maybe it's just a vibration of the engine, you know, just shaking. But no, look what I found. Spark plug's loose. So it looks like new plugs, and they're not tight. So that's awesome. So someone's changed the spark plugs on this thing, and they didn't tighten the plugs. Damn. So I pulled out that loose plug. It's an NGKR. Plug doesn't look that bad. Smells all right. Plug test is a good way to check your tune. Looks a bit on the lean side, but a bit white, but this thing had crap fuel in it as well. And plus, if it wasn't in all the way, usually it'd probably be wet if it wasn't in all the way. They're more than lean. So I don't know if he just recently replaced the plugs because he couldn't get it started. Or this has been in there since they did the engine, because apparently this engine was rebuilt not long. And then I was put in the car, and then the car was barely driven. That's what the story I got told, but who knows. Okay guys, so I checked over all the plugs. I found 3 plugs were really loose. Like, I mean, maybe a couple full turns loose on the passenger side. The back 3 plugs, the first one was tight, and the driver side ones were all tight. So I got a little trick when I do. The best thing to do for this car, because it's a nightmare with all the plumbing, I did the spark plugs from underneath, which wasn't that bad actually. I use a little trick. So I use a spark plug socket, and then I got a few little extensions here, but if you can't get on tight places, I use a spanner like that on spark plugs. So put the spark plug tube on it, socket, and then you use a little spanner, and that helps you get in the tight places, and you can turn it because the plugs were so close to the headers in some spots. Maybe that's why these guys left them loose, because I was struggling to get in there, because this car is a bit of a bastard to work on. But yeah, so we're going to start up now and see how it runs with 3 of the plugs now tight, see if that slight miss is gone. So it's running now. Sort of shaking a bit. Sounds more crisp now. I don't know if it's because it's solid mounted. Looks like it's shaking a bit, but it sounds smooth. So, yeah, it sounds alright. Might be just because it's solid mounted, it's shaking a bit. Oil pressure seems really high. Hope that's not going to give me any issues. Yep, seems to be smoother now. So hopefully that was one of the issues. Alright, let's do some more work. Turn this noisy thing off before I upset all my neighbours. Alright guys, so I pretty much got underneath the car done. I put the bash plates back on. Now I'm doing the front wheel, and we're going to see if we can fix this steering lock issue we got. So that's my full lock. Alright, as you can see, it's driftable, but it's not gangster spec. It's going to be a bit hard to be doing Dora Explorer with Adam on the track when I can't get enough lock to get close enough. So we have to fix that. So let's have a look underneath and see what my issue is underneath here. Let's put the light on so we can see. All right, so this is underneath on the suspension. Let's have a good look. So it's got this cold air brake pipe. See this thing here? That's not actually the engine pipe, that's for the brakes. So it feeds cold air to the brakes because it was a circuit car. So I'm guessing, and then if you look at my steering lock here, see here? So someone has made the steering lock stop there. So, and then let's have a look at the tie rod. The tie rod's not maxing out, I don't think. Let's go underneath here and have a look. No, so my tie rod's not maxing out. And have a look here. It's not rubbing anywhere. It might rub here on the inner guard, but what we'll do, we'll bash that out. Normally in my drift cars I bash that flat so it doesn't rub. But let's go the other way. That's the other way with the wheel. It's not hitting the cold air pipe for the brakes. So I'm not sure the reason why. Is because circuit cars don't want so much lock. I wonder if the steering was binding on him. It was going into overlock or something. Maybe the steering was sticking. I don't think the rack's maxed out. I reckon the rack seals are maxed out. I wouldn't think so. I might take the boot off here on the rack and have a look. That's all I've got out of this at the moment. Basically the rack's maxed out. So if I can grind the lock stops more, I could get more turn. But then I'll probably blow the seals in the steering rack. So you got to be careful how much lock you go, how much rack travel you got. So for now, that's going to have to do, and then I'm going to have to sort something out. I might have to put a different steering rack in this or something like that, but I haven't got enough time. I'm struggling for time as it is. So I'm just going to have to deal with it. My oil catch can here. It's got a breathe back type into the exhaust. There's no drain at all on the catch can that I could see. So it sounded empty, but I put a brake fluid sucker in here, one of the ports, had like a block off port, and I drained about almost a litre out of the catch can. So it's an important thing to do in your drift cars, make sure your catch can's been emptied. Yeah, I don't want overfull catch can spitting all over your engine bay. My power steering oil, I dropped the level slightly, so that doesn't spit out as well. I'm going to put a sock over the top. I like to run socks over my reservoirs, so if they spill, they don't spill onto the drive belts and things like that. The sock sort of catches it. We're all going back together now. So I've put all the heat shielding back on, just to give it extra protection. I've done the overflow bottle. So I've put the Dakin one here, or the Daco. I've mounted it there, away from the tyre so it clears. I've run a new hose up to the top expansion tank. So now the cap bleeds pressure, bleeds back up into this bottle here. If it needs to suck, it sucks, recovers from here as well, instead of recovering just air. All right, it's time to take this bad boy to Mexico and see if she drives. Mexico City, here we come.
Yeah, visit the gringos in Mexico.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88. Roads? Well, we go